Every meal you serve your cat is more than just food. It's a decision that shapes their health, behavior, and how long they stay by your side. Veterinarians see the same feeding mistakes repeated in clinics every single day. Mistakes made by loving owners who simply didn't know better. Some of these errors cause slow, silent damage. Others can turn fatal without warning. These aren't small oversights. They're the kind of feeding habits that shorten lives, and most cat owners are making at least 3 of them right now. Number 20. Ignoring taurine deficiency risks. You might be feeding your cat every single day and still slowly starving their heart. Taurine is an essential amino acid that cats cannot produce on their own, unlike dogs or humans. Without enough of it, their hearts begin to fail, their vision deteriorates, and their immune system quietly collapses. And here is the terrifying part. The symptoms don't show up until the damage is already done. Most cats appear perfectly fine on the outside, while their heart muscle is weakening on the inside. This condition is called dilated cardiomyopathy, and it is directly linked to taurine deficiency. Cheap, grain-heavy cat foods often contain dangerously low levels of taurine. Cooking also destroys taurine in homemade diets that aren't properly balanced. Always choose a cat food that lists taurine explicitly in its ingredients or nutritional panel. If you are feeding a home-prepared diet, talk to a veterinary nutritionist before assuming it's complete. One missing nutrient, fed over months, can steal years from your cat's life. Don't let something this preventable be the reason you lose them early. Number 19. Overfeeding tuna or fish-based foods. Cats go crazy for tuna, and most owners take that as a sign it must be good for them. It's not, at least not in the amounts most people serve it. Tuna is addictive for cats because of its intense smell and high fat content, but making it a staple is one of the most damaging feeding habits you can develop. Too much tuna leads to mercury poisoning over time, which attacks the nervous system. It also causes a severe vitamin E deficiency called steatitis or yellow fat disease, which is as painful as it sounds. Inflamed, hardened fat deposits throughout the body. Cats fed excessive fish also develop an addiction so strong they will refuse all other foods, creating a nutritional imbalance that worsens with every meal. Canned tuna made for humans contains sodium levels far too high for a cat's kidneys to handle. An occasional treat is fine, but fish should never be the foundation of your cat's diet. If your cat is already hooked on fish-only food, transition them slowly to a more balanced formula. Their obsession with it doesn't mean it's safe. It means they're addicted. Number 18. Feeding toxic human foods. Some of the most dangerous things your cat can eat are sitting in your kitchen right now. Onions and garlic, raw, cooked, or powdered, destroy red blood cells and cause a life-threatening anemia in cats. Grapes and raisins can trigger sudden kidney failure, even in tiny amounts. Xylitol, the artificial sweetener found in gum, yogurt, and some peanut butters, is deadly in small doses. Chocolate contains theobromine, which cats cannot metabolize, causing seizures, heart arrhythmias, and death. Even foods that seem harmless can be treacherous. Avocado contains persin, which is toxic to cats, and raw dough can expand in their stomach and release alcohol as it ferments. Alcohol itself, even in trace amounts, causes severe liver and brain damage in cats. Macadamia nuts, caffeine, and alcohol round out the list of everyday foods that have no business being anywhere near your cat's bowl. The problem is that many of these foods don't cause immediate symptoms, so owners assume a small taste was harmless. It wasn't. When in doubt, keep human food completely away from your cat. Their biology is not a smaller version of yours. Number 17. Feeding cooked bones or fish bones. It feels natural to toss your cat a chicken bone or a piece of fish. After all, cats are hunters. Bones seem like part of the deal. But cooked bones are one of the most physically dangerous things you can give a cat. Heat changes the molecular structure of bone, making it brittle and prone to splintering into razor-sharp shards. When your cat chews a cooked bone, those shards can puncture the roof of their mouth, slice open their esophagus, or tear through the lining of their stomach or intestines. Internal bleeding from a bone splinter is a surgical emergency, and it can turn fatal before you even realize something is wrong. Fish bones are equally dangerous. Even small bones can lodge in the throat, causing choking or pierce the digestive tract deeper down. Cats do not chew bones the way larger animals do. They crack and swallow. That means every shard goes straight down. Raw meaty bones are a different matter and are sometimes recommended under guidance, but cooked is never safe. No exceptions. If your cat needs something to satisfy their chewing instinct, choose vet-approved dental chews or raw feeding programs designed with safety in mind. One bone, one emergency. It's not worth it. Number 16. Feeding dog food to your cat. Dog food won't poison your cat in one sitting, but feed it regularly, and you are quietly dismantling their health from the inside out. Cats and dogs have fundamentally different nutritional needs, and dog food is designed for an omnivore, not an obligate carnivore. Cat food contains much higher levels of protein, taurine, arachidonic acid, and vitamin A, all of which cats must get from food because their bodies cannot synthesize them. Dog food contains none of these in adequate amounts. Over time, a cat eating dog food will develop taurine deficiency, leading to heart disease and blindness. They will suffer from vitamin A deficiency, causing skin problems, poor coat quality, and immune failure. Arachidonic acid deficiency affects liver function, reproduction, and platelet formation. This isn't hypothetical. These are documented outcomes in cats fed dog food long term. If you have both a dog and a cat at home, this mistake is easy to make. They eat from each other's bowls. It feels harmless. But every meal of dog food is a meal your cat's body cannot use to stay healthy. Feed them separately, use different bowls, and never assume dog food is a suitable substitute, even once in a while. Number 15. Letting your cat eat too fast. If your cat inhales their food in under a minute and then vomits it back up shortly after, you already know this problem intimately. Speed eating in cats isn't just a quirk, it's a health risk with real consequences. When a cat eats too fast, they swallow excess air along with their food, which leads to bloating, discomfort, and regurgitation. Unlike vomiting, regurgitation happens almost immediately after eating and is a direct result of how quickly the food was consumed. But speed eating causes more than just a mess on your floor. Cats who eat fast rarely chew properly, which means larger food chunks reach the stomach and are harder to digest. Over time, this stresses the digestive system and can contribute to chronic gastritis. Competitive eating between cats in multi-cat households makes this worse. Survival instinct kicks in, and they eat as fast as possible to prevent the other from stealing their food. Slow feeders and puzzle bowls are specifically designed to solve this problem. They force your cat to work for each piece of food, slowing them down naturally. You can also divide meals into smaller, more frequent servings. A cat that eats calmly digests better, absorbs more nutrients, and keeps their food down where it belongs. Number 14. Sudden food switching without transition. You found a better food. The ingredients are cleaner, the reviews are glowing, and you want to switch your cat immediately. So you replace the old food overnight. Within days, your cat has diarrhea, refuses to eat, or both. This is not coincidence. Cats have one of the most sensitive digestive systems of any domestic animal. Their gut bacteria are finely tuned to their current diet, and a sudden change disrupts that entire microbial ecosystem at once. The result is inflammation, loose stool, vomiting, and a cat who now associates the new food with feeling sick, making future feeding even harder. But there is a more serious issue that owners rarely consider. Cats can develop a condition called hepatic lipidosis, fatty liver disease, when they stop eating even for just 2 to 3 days. If your cat refuses the new food cold turkey and you don't notice quickly enough, the consequences can be life-threatening. The transition rule is simple. Mix 25% new food with 75% old for several days. Then go 50-50ths. Then 75% new. By the end of 2 weeks, the switch is complete and your cat's gut has had time to adapt. Patience here isn't just kind, it's medically essential. Number 13. Skipping meals to reset hunger. Some owners skip a meal when their cat refuses to eat, thinking it will make them hungry enough to accept the food next time. It's a logical idea, but in cats, it can trigger a medical emergency faster than almost any other well-intentioned mistake. Cats are not built to fast. Unlike dogs or humans, a cat's liver is not designed to mobilize stored fat for energy during prolonged food absence. When a cat stops eating, even for 24 to 48 hours, the body begins sending fat reserves to the liver for processing. The liver quickly becomes overwhelmed. Fat accumulates in the liver cells, and the organ begins to fail. This condition, hepatic lipidosis, is the most common severe liver disease in cats, and it is directly caused by not eating. Overweight cats are at even higher risk because they have more fat to mobilize. The cruel irony is that the cats who can least afford to miss meals are often the pickiest eaters. If your cat is refusing food, the answer is not to wait them out. It is to find out why and act quickly. Appetite stimulants, different textures, warming food slightly, or veterinary evaluation are all far safer options than letting hunger accumulate into a crisis. Number 12. Ignoring food allergies and intolerances. Your cat scratches constantly, has chronic loose stool, and vomits more often than seems normal. You've tried different brands, added supplements, and cleaned the bowl more often, but you've never tried eliminating the ingredient causing the problem. Food allergies and intolerances in cats are far more common than most owners realize, and they rarely look the way people expect. There's no dramatic reaction. Instead, it's a slow accumulation of symptoms that seem unrelated. Itchy skin, bald patches from overgrooming, ear infections that keep coming back, and digestive upset that never fully resolves. The most common food allergens in cats are beef, fish, chicken, dairy, and eggs, often the very proteins in their current food. An elimination diet is the only reliable way to identify the cause. This means feeding a novel protein your cat has never eaten before, such as venison, rabbit, or duck, for 8 to 12 weeks, with nothing else added. No treats, no table scraps, no flavored medications. The process takes patience, but it works. Once the allergen is identified, you can choose a food that avoids it permanently. Continuing to feed something your cat is reacting to isn't just uncomfortable for them. It's chronic, low-level suffering you have the power to stop. Number 11. Free feeding dry kibble all day. Leaving a bowl of dry kibble out all day feels like the responsible choice. Your cat can eat whenever they want. You never have to worry about them going hungry. It sounds ideal, and it's one of the most harmful feeding habits you can establish. Cats in the wild are natural hunters who eat multiple small meals across the day, but they work for every single one. Free feeding eliminates that structure entirely and replaces instinctive, hunger-driven eating with mindless grazing. The result is overconsumption, obesity, and metabolic disruption. Free-fed cats often eat out of boredom rather than hunger, and their bodies never fully experience true satiety. Over time, they lose the ability to regulate their own food intake. Dry kibble sitting out all day also accumulates bacteria, attracts insects, and goes stale, meaning the food your cat is eating later in the day is nutritionally degraded and potentially contaminated. For cats prone to urinary issues, constant dry food without adequate water intake concentrates urine dangerously. Structured meal times, 2 to 3 times per day, with the bowl removed after 20 minutes. Restore natural feeding rhythms, support a healthy weight, and make it much easier for you to notice when your cat's appetite changes, which is often the first sign of illness. Number 10. Feeding one large meal a day. One big meal a day seems efficient. You feed them in the morning, the bowl is empty, and you don't have to think about it again. But a single daily meal is one of the worst feeding schedules you can give a cat. Cats have small stomachs designed for frequent, small portions. One large meal overwhelms that capacity, causing them to eat too fast, regurgitate, and experience prolonged hunger for the rest of the day. That extended hunger isn't just uncomfortable. It triggers stress hormones that affect mood, behavior, and long-term metabolic health. Cats fed once daily often become food-obsessed and anxious, crying for food hours before mealtime. They may begin stealing food, raiding trash, or showing aggressive behavior around feeding. The blood sugar crash that follows a single large meal also contributes to energy spikes and drops that affect their activity level and mood throughout the day. Splitting the same total daily portion into 2 or 3 meals costs you almost nothing in time or effort, but makes a profound difference in how your cat feels and behaves. If your schedule makes multiple feedings difficult, an automatic feeder programmed to dispense measured portions at set times is a simple, effective solution. Your cat's biology was built for rhythm. Give it to them. Number 9. Ignoring senior or medical diet needs. The food that kept your cat healthy at 3 years old can actively harm them at 13. As cats age, their bodies change in ways that demand a different nutritional approach, and ignoring that shift is one of the most common ways owners unknowingly accelerate their senior cat's decline. Older cats lose muscle mass faster and need higher protein to maintain it. Yet many senior cat foods reduce protein out of misplaced concern for kidney health. Kidney disease is common in senior cats, but the relationship between protein and kidney function is more nuanced than most labels suggest. A veterinary nutritionist can help you navigate this. Senior cats also have reduced ability to absorb phosphorus, and too much of it damages already stressed kidneys. Their digestive enzymes become less efficient, making highly digestible proteins critically important. Joint support through omega-3 fatty acids and glucosamine becomes relevant. Caloric needs shift depending on whether your senior cat is losing or gaining weight. A cat with hyperthyroidism needs a completely different feeding approach than one with diabetes or heart disease. The point is this: a senior cat's diet should not be an afterthought. Schedule a nutrition-focused vet conversation as your cat enters their senior years, typically around age 7 to 8, and adjust their food before problems develop, not after. Number 8. Feeding only dry food with no wet food balance. Dry food is convenient, affordable, and marketed heavily as complete nutrition. But feeding your cat exclusively dry kibble, day after day, year after year, is a slow form of chronic dehydration, and the consequences build quietly until they can't be ignored. Cats evolved as desert animals who obtained most of their moisture from their prey. Their thirst drive is naturally low because their biology assumed the food would be wet. When you feed only dry kibble, which contains just 10% moisture compared to wet food's 70 to 80%, your cat's body is perpetually running below its hydration threshold. Chronically dehydrated cats develop concentrated urine, which leads to the formation of crystals and stones in the urinary tract. Male cats are especially vulnerable because of their narrower urethra. A blockage here is a life-threatening emergency requiring immediate veterinary care. Kidney disease, already the leading cause of death in older cats, is accelerated by years of inadequate hydration. Adding wet food to your cat's diet, even one meal per day, dramatically increases their daily moisture intake. It supports kidney function, dilutes urine, keeps the digestive tract moving, and tends to be more satisfying per calorie, which helps with weight management. Dry food is fine as part of a balanced routine. As the only food, it's a risk that compounds silently over years. Number 7. Relying on cheap, filler-heavy food. The bag says complete and balanced. The price seems reasonable. Your cat eats it without complaining. But what's actually inside that food may be doing far more harm than the label suggests. Many budget cat foods are built around cheap fillers: corn, wheat, soy, and rice that cats have no biological need for. Cats are obligate carnivores. Their digestive systems are built to process protein and fat from animal sources, not grains and plant-based starches. When a food's first few ingredients are cornmeal or rice flour, your cat is being fed a diet their body cannot efficiently use. The consequences accumulate slowly. Poor coat quality, persistent digestive issues, weight gain despite normal portions, and low energy are often the first signs of chronic nutritional deficiency from filler-heavy food. The protein listed on cheap foods is often rendered from low-quality sources: feathers, hooves, and connective tissue classified as meat byproducts, which provide amino acid profiles far inferior to actual muscle meat. You do not need to buy the most expensive food on the shelf, but you do need to read the ingredient list. Look for a named animal protein, chicken, salmon, turkey, as the first ingredient. Avoid foods where the first 3 ingredients are grains. Your cat's body will tell the difference, even if the price tag doesn't. Number 6. Feeding cold food straight from the fridge. You open a can of wet food, scoop it into the bowl, and set it down straight from the refrigerator. Your cat sniffs it, walks away, and you wonder why they're being picky. They're not being difficult. They're responding to biology. Cats are hardwired to prefer food at approximately body temperature, around 38 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This mimics the warmth of freshly caught prey, which is what their instincts are calibrated for. Cold food not only smells less appealing because the aromatic compounds are suppressed at low temperatures, it also signals to your cat's nervous system that the food may be old or unsafe. Cats rely heavily on smell to evaluate food, and a cold meal smells like almost nothing. Beyond the sensory issue, Cold food is harder for a cat's digestive system to process. The stomach must work to warm it before digestion can begin efficiently, which can contribute to nausea and regurgitation in sensitive cats. The fix is almost effortless. Let refrigerated food sit at room temperature for 15 to 20 minutes before serving, or warm it briefly in the microwave and stir to eliminate hot spots. Warm food also tends to have a stronger, more appealing aroma, which encourages better eating habits, especially in cats recovering from illness or with reduced appetites. Number 5. Overfeeding treats. The look your cat gives you when you reach for the treat bag is one of the most rewarding parts of owning a cat. So you give one more, then one more after that. And before long, treats have become a significant part of what your cat consumes every day and a silent wrecker of their nutritional balance. Most commercial cat treats are built for palatability, not nutrition. They are high in carbohydrates, artificial flavors, and preservatives, with very little protein of any real quality. When treats make up more than 10% of your cat's daily caloric intake, they begin displacing the nutrients that should be coming from balanced meals. Cats start holding out for the treat, the tastier, more intensely flavored option, and lose interest in their actual food. This creates picky eating patterns that are frustrating and genuinely hard to reverse. Weight gain follows, and with it comes joint stress, increased diabetes risk, and liver strain. Many treats also contain added salt levels that stress the kidneys over time. The solution is not to eliminate treats, but to use them strategically. Break them into smaller pieces. Your cat cannot tell the difference in size, only in frequency. Swap some commercial treats for small pieces of cooked plain chicken or freeze-dried meat. Treats should reinforce your bond, not undermine their health. Number 4. Improper portion sizes. Most cat owners estimate portion sizes based on how much food looks right in the bowl or how insistently their cat is meowing. Neither method works. Improper portion control is one of the leading drivers of feline obesity, and obesity in cats is not a cosmetic issue, it is a medical one. Overweight cats suffer from joint pain, fatty liver disease, diabetes, urinary blockages, and a significantly shortened lifespan. Research consistently shows that lean cats live longer and experience fewer age-related health conditions than their overweight counterparts. The challenge is that overfeeding by even small amounts, 20 extra calories a day, adds up to real weight gain over months. Cat food labels give portion guidelines based on the average cat, not your cat. Your cat's age, activity level, reproductive status, and current weight all affect how much food they actually need. A young, active male cat needs a very different portion than a spayed, sedentary senior. Use a kitchen scale or measuring cup, not your eyes. Weigh your cat monthly and adjust portions as needed. If your cat is already overweight, reduce calories gradually. A sudden calorie cut can trigger hepatic lipidosis. Work with your vet to establish a safe target weight and a realistic timeline. Every gram matters when it's your cat's health. Number 3. Using dirty or shared food bowls. When did you last wash your cat's food bowl with soap and hot water? Not just rinse it out. If you're like most owners, the answer is less often than you think. Dirty food bowls are one of the most overlooked sources of chronic health problems in cats, and the connection is rarely made because the consequences develop gradually. Wet food residue left in a bowl begins to grow bacteria within hours. Biofilm, the same invisible film that grows in water pipes, accumulates in the tiny scratches on plastic bowls and is nearly impossible to remove without proper scrubbing. Cats eating from biofilm-coated bowls are ingesting bacteria with every meal. This contributes to digestive upset, chronic mouth infections, and immune stress. Plastic bowls are the worst offenders. They scratch easily, harbor bacteria in those scratches, and can cause feline acne, small black bumps on the chin that most owners mistake for dirt. Stainless steel or ceramic bowls are far easier to sanitize. Shared bowls in multi-cat households multiply the problem, spreading bacteria and viruses between cats who may have different health statuses. Wash food bowls with hot soapy water after every wet meal and at least daily for dry food. Replace plastic bowls entirely. It takes 60 seconds and can prevent months of unexplained illness. Number 2. Ignoring hydration needs. Your cat's water bowl is full. It has been full for 2 days, and your cat hasn't touched it. Most owners see a full bowl and assume hydration is covered. It's not. Cats are notoriously poor drinkers. Partly because of their evolutionary biology, they obtained moisture from prey, and partly because they are deeply particular about the quality and freshness of their water. A bowl of water that has been sitting still for 2 days is, to your cat, stale, potentially contaminated, and unappealing. They will avoid it and remain chronically dehydrated while you assume they're fine. Chronic dehydration is one of the primary drivers of urinary tract disease, kidney disease, and constipation in cats. The kidneys require constant hydration to filter waste effectively. When a cat is even mildly dehydrated over a long period, the kidneys work harder, concentrate waste in smaller amounts of urine, and begin to sustain damage that is irreversible once established. The fix is not complicated, but it requires consistency. Change your cat's water daily, minimum. Wash the bowl. Many cats dramatically increase their water intake when given a pet water fountain. Moving water tastes fresher and mimics a natural water source. Placing water bowls away from food and litter boxes also encourages drinking. Wet food is your single most powerful tool for increasing daily moisture. Hydration is not optional for a healthy cat. It is foundational. Number 1. Ignoring life-stage nutrition. This is the mistake that silently undermines everything else you do right. You can buy quality food, measure portions carefully, and keep the bowl spotless. But if you are feeding the wrong formula for your cat's stage of life, you are working against their biology at the most fundamental level. A kitten-fed adult food does not get the concentrated protein, fat, calcium, and DHA it needs for brain development, bone growth, and immune maturation. An adult cat-fed kitten food is getting a calorie surplus and a protein-to-fat ratio that drives weight gain and metabolic strain. A senior cat-fed standard adult food misses the targeted joint support, highly digestible proteins, and phosphorus adjustments that their aging system needs to function well. And a cat with a diet